What's up, everybody? Today we are filming the very first part of what I think will be the hardest thing we've ever tried to do on this channel and one of the coolest things. This is the Specialized Epic Retrospective. Last year, the 8th Epic came out. This is my Epic 8 that has been featured on this channel many times. The Epic 8 was our best-selling bike of 2024. This bike is the culmination of 50 years of R&D development, and I've said that in a few videos, but where did that development begin is kind of, I think, an interesting thing to talk about. Back in May, I bought this. This is a Epic 1. There's very, very little information about this bike on the internet, and we did our best to compile as much as we could. Most of the sources for this ended up being old product catalogs. Comment down below if you know more about any of these topics. Feel free to inform us, and we can add that into part 2 of this series whenever we go ride the Epic 1. Other thing I wanted to mention is that the Epic 1 has like a cool race history, and we're gonna save that for the riding portion of the video, so stay tuned for that. We didn't forget, we just wanted to save it for the riding video. In this video, we're gonna build it and also talk about kind of the history of it. Back in 2019, well before we owned the store, and if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you've heard a lot about this trip. We went to the mountain bike museum in Crested Butte, where I found this, and it was $5.
What a steal.
Yeah. Actually, you can buy these on eBay for not that much, but this is a really cool book. There's 2 pages that we pulled a lot of information from. Specialized built prototypes for Ned Overend. They took the existing stump jumper and started to try to make it better, and that's kind of where the stump jumper Epic originated from. Between 88 and 93, they continued to develop this bike, and eventually that led to the Epic Ultimate. Specialized was the first company to put together production frames in steel and carbon, and also titanium and carbon. This was the very first production mountain bike that was made with carbon fiber. They made these in pretty low numbers. They're not very common. They were very expensive at the time. This bike retailed for $1,900 back in 1990. That was definitely why they didn't make tons of them, if that makes sense. It was a very expensive thing. Like, they spent $250,000 on the software to even get the process started. This says stump jumper on it. And what this actually is called the Stump Jumper Epic. And this was the very first Specialized Epic mountain bike. Quick shout out to House of Cogs. Check them out if you are looking for retro bike stuff. I bought these original 1990 Specialized catalogs from them in pristine condition. I hope you all enjoy this video. I put a lot of work into it.
I would say this is like a passion project.
Yeah, please support us via buying parts from us or getting custom builds. I spent a lot of money on this, and it'd be cool if y'all enjoy this content. The best way to support the bicycle station is ordering parts through us. 1990 catalog.
And why did you buy the 1990 catalog?
Because this is the 1990 Stump Jumper Epic. I do not have the Ultimate. The Ultimate and the Epic were the same frame and fork, and the difference is this has Shimano XT, and this came with Suntour, like super expensive Suntour parts. No big deal. There's actually a giant price difference between that Suntour bike and the XT bike, which we'll get into in a second. So Specialized from 88 to 93 basically made a bunch of different versions of this bike. And what they were doing was effectively small batch prototyping better race bikes for their race team with like Ned Overend. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I said that right. They would try to find different carbon tubes and different lugs. This is an earlier model, and if you can tell, the lug is really long on this one. Whereas if you got a later model, they actually shortened this and made it lighter, effectively. This is all epoxied together.
They literally in the article called it a special room temperature adhesive.
We found a review of this bike from 1990 where we're getting this information from. 1990 Bicycle Guide article about the stump jumper epic. Ted Costantino from the October edition of the magazine. He interviewed Jim Mers, who at the time headed specialized carbon fiber development team, and he is kind of a legendary frame maker. This is a quote from Jim that I've taken directly from this article. Strength takes care of itself on a carbon fiber bike, and the weight of a carbon bike will be what it's going to be. You already know it's going to be light, so why worry about it? Stiffness is what you need to chase. And that's kind of what they were looking for, is to make a stiffer bike, which is kind of nowadays hilarious because that's all marketing is. But at the time, like, this was the first production carbon mountain bike ever made. So kind of interesting that marketing is still the same as it was 35 years ago. I think that's funny. In this article, they discussed the tubing construction. The thick carbon tubes were glued to the chromoly steel lugs with a room temperature adhesive. And this differed from the common practice from the time of one-piece molding. They said it delivers good consistency from frame to frame, which is interesting. In the article also, it said that chromoly lugs were used because the aluminum at the time, to get a comparable strength to the chromoly, it would have had to be super big and bulky and heavy, so they went with the steel. The titanium came later in the form of the Epic Ultimate. They hadn't found a reliable titanium manufacturer yet to make this stuff. All of the Epic Ultimates were hand put together in Morgan Hill, which I thought was really cool, that it is technically a USA-made bike. To facilitate this design, in 1985, Specialized spent $250,000 on CAD software. Mers used this to study the relationship between wall thickness, geometry, weight, resiliency, and rigidity of the design. The glue is solid at room temperature, which is what you'd want. And it allowed them to prototype these things and change the different lugs, ultimately resulting in the S-Works Epic Ultimate, which is the same bike that I have. Not really, but you get what I'm trying to say. They've iterated this. And this is the really famous one. I found a couple of these for sale. You can get them for like $12,000 or $13,000.
Holy smokes.
They're effectively museum pieces, the Epic Ultimate, and the lugs are titanium. So I have a chromoly lugged bike here, which I'm very happy to have, but this is a museum grade bike at this point, I think. In the article written by Ted Costantino, this bike cost $1,900 in 1990. Guess what I paid for this in 2024?
I'm not going to guess because I know, so it's not fun.
We're going to go through the prices on some of this stuff, but I bought a complete bike. It wasn't completely original, but I spent $1,400 on this bike in 2024, which is hilarious. That's like not that much depreciation. And then I spent even more money on OG. Like, I wanted to make it closer to the originals as best I could. So we're gonna dive into some of the stuff I bought for this, but let's get into this really quick. All right, so this is where I'm gonna ask y'all for some help. If you have any insight into this, let me know, because this is pretty incredible. This is serial number J0001. If I know anything about serial numbers, like, this might be the first one of this model made, which is weird. There's another weird thing going on here. These decals are not actually the right ones for the production bike. I found some replica decals to just improve. This bike's decals are pretty messed up, and it's actually missing a lot of them. There are supposed to be these specialized decals right here. We're gonna fix that here in a second. But it's kind of a peculiar frame, because, like, number one, I don't know. It's kind of hard to believe that that's what I have here. But if y'all are more in tune with, like, what that means or what that might entail. Like, let me know if anybody knows the history of this particular bike, because normally 001 would not be something that like would end up on the internet like that. So this is the first thing that I kind of had to go off script with, which is the headset. This is an XT headset. It is not the original headset that was spec'd on this bike. It's clearly been repaired or something. Basically, this bearing is not the right XT bearing, and I've looked this up to verify it. It doesn't even look right. It might have been the top one. Either way, one of them's wrong, and I know this isn't exactly what Specialized would have sent this bike out with, but I purchased a period correct Chris King grip nut headset for this bike, which I think will be cool. This was a $200 purchase that I've made on top of the $1,400 purchase, and it's gonna get worse. Don't worry. But anyway, let's start with getting this headset installed. This is super cool. The bearings honestly feel like brand new. The first bike to have the word Epic stamped on it was in Ale. We do not know for certain what the actual history of this was, but I guess this is kind of an opinion that originally Specialized was using the terminology Epic to distinguish their carbon tubed frames, and the Epic Ale actually predated the Stump Jumper Epic by 2 years. Later this changed, and I think, again, this is completely just me kind of inferring stuff, but kind of wonder if this was like the early S-Works, if that makes sense. It's the Epic version was like the super fancy one, and then that later became S-Works. So I wonder if that was kind of an early S-Works kind of thing, if that makes sense. I guess we should have probably removed the old one first, right?
Probably a good place to start. Can't just go stacking headsets, you know?
We could stack them all, yeah. One thing we need to do is pull the crown race off of this. We're gonna use the crown race puller.
I feel like this is one of the most intense looking tools.
It might be too tall. Because I've already, wait. I might need to add some space in there because it's the fork is too short. I found an older one. Let's see if this one will work. So how this tool works is basically it grabs onto it. Like that. Okay, cool. This older one works, which makes sense. And then, super easy. I found an 1 1/8 inch, or actually this is just 1 inch. This is old. Anyway, I found a old crown race thing. That was pretty painless, actually.
This is easy peasy.
Yeah, old stuff is cool. Old stuff is cool. Set that down. We do need to knock these cups out. So this is so much fun. We never use these tools anymore, so like I have to go find them, but it's kind of fun to use them for once. So this is not like exactly the right tool for this, but I think it'll work. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Is it moving at all?
No.
No.
Did they glue it?
No. I need the one that's like bigger than this. I'm pretty sure I don't have the right. Oh, this is the right tool. 1 to 1.2. There we go. See if this one works. Yeah, okay.
Yikes.
Remember, that was not the original headset that was supposed to come on the bike, and I will, let's see what the original one was. So, the bike came with a WTB, oh, sorry.
No, wrong bike.
A Specialized SV2 sealed black chrome. So it did not even come with that XT headset, and I think the Chris King one obviously is a big upgrade regardless, so I'm pretty stoked. Do you see how I'm like trying to just get it right on the lip of the cup? Mm-hmm. Like that. And then that one's coming out really easy. How rusty are we in here? Not too bad. It's so weird because it's like, do you spray frame saver in there, or do you spray like it's like carbon? I don't know. It's really not that bad.
I think it's a bike that is, 34 years old, so
Yeah.
kind of is what it is.
You know, we should probably put the seat post in this thing. That's carbon. Can you see that? It has the outer layer
There's a slight
metal.
green. Okay.
And then the inner layer is carbon. This is just carbon.
Well, there you go. There's your answer. Carbon paste.
I think that's super cool. That's like, because like I never noticed that before, where like you can actually see where the two pieces are bonded together right there. We're gonna carbon paste this. All right, this is a purchase I made. This is a new old stock, brand new Shimano Dior XT SP M730 seat post. Brand new. This seat post was $180. I'll tally up the total at the end.
I wish we had like another camera on my face for my expressions right now.
This is $180 seat post, but it is a brand new old stock seat post. There we go. All right, that'll make it easier for us to be able to work on it. Now we need to press the headset in. And what I was hoping is I'm gonna go check and see if there's some old Chris King headset drifts over there, because that would just be super cool. I don't know if there is, but if there is, we're gonna use them. If not, I think my Abbey tool kit should probably be able to handle it. We have the period correct original Chris King 1-inch cup adapter. That's some old stuff. Buying a bike shop that has all the old stuff is kind of cool sometimes.
Yeah. Comes in handy.
You always want to line up your logos. Oops, you want to be tightening. Sweet. I think that looks cool. It's pretty. Oh, excuse me. I think that looks pretty sweet. Let me get some grease on all this really quick. Got the fork here. And this is an interesting situation. This has got threads on it. Headsets used to have threaded preloaders. So you thread that part on. I'll have to find some wrenches for that. I was worried about that.
Uh-oh.
The steer tube might be too short. All we need to do is get that to start threading on, because all that does is hold it in place. So it's hopefully not a huge deal. I don't know though, because I've never worked on a headset like this, or not commonly at least. Definitely a little bit of an issue here. I don't think this ruins the build at all. I do have that barely on a thread there, so I don't think it's a big deal. We're gonna grease that. But we're just gonna build it, and if I need to address that later, I will, because that doesn't really affect the stem at all. What is this bolt? Oh, there we go. Sweet, so that is another piece that I bought. Originally, whenever I bought this bike, it came with this like random kind of beat up junky stem. This is the original Specialized one. And I think it's another new old stock situation. Specialized, and I think this is Easton, like the baseball bats, right? That's their logo. Anyway, this is a Specialized alloy bulge black. Or is this the TIG one? Did I buy the nicer one? Let me check the eBay listing. So this is mysteriously no longer on my eBay account, which is fine. This bar, so we have a 135 mil stem with a 560 width bar. So that's the original uncut length of this handlebar.
What width do you run now?
760.
Just for fun. 760.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I should have greased that. I usually don't, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with it like that. So yeah, now we're starting to look really proper with this thing. I love how they put a line on it for you to like find the center, but it's like you can't see it. I'll adjust that later. Single bolt here. How's that look?
Kind of funny. I just can't get over the stem.
That's what it used to be.
I know.
What's the reach on this bad boy? So I don't really know what the reach on this is. It doesn't say in either of our resources. This is, I'm pretty sure, a size 19 bike, which I would assume is like a medium or a large nowadays. 22.5 top tube. I don't know.
It's something.
It's something for sure. I left the bottom bracket in there. I can't remember if I tried to remove it or if I just didn't want to. It's fine. I'm not gonna stress about it, because honestly, sometimes on old bikes like this, like that could become a major project that we don't want to have.
Yeah, I feel like this is a situation where you kind of have to pick and choose your battles, and I think that was a good one to
Yeah,
just leave.
pretty much full Shimano XT build here. This is the FC M730 in a 175 crank length. This is a BioPace chainring.
That's what that means.
Yeah. It's Shimano's old oval stuff that was pretty prevalent back in the day. I think modern oval stuff is kind of better than this. I've stopped using it though. I used to be an oval guy. I just decided that circles were fine. This is the original crank set. So we got this information from the Shimano archive in 1986, 4 years after its release. The M730 series, which incorporated the Shimano Index System, or SIS, was released. This series later incorporated new functions that would be representative of mountain bikes, including the HG cassettes, rapid fire shifters, and the Shimano pedaling dynamics, or SPD system. These functions were eventually embodied in the concept of Shimano Total Integration, or STI, which was Shimano's development concept for system components aiming to integrate innovative functions in a user-friendly manner, and served as the driving force for Shimano's subsequent leaps. So the 700 series, first released in '86, this bike came with the later 735 series, which released in 1989. Shimano developed the rapid fire shifter by improving conventional shift levers. As its name suggests, it enabled quick shifting only with the thumb as the down and upshift levers were placed under the handlebar. Furthermore, since the levers were designed to always return to their initial positions after gear change and enabled the rider to shift up to 6 gears at once, the rapid fire shifter was especially beneficial in scenes where riders were required to make instant decisions. HD cassette sprockets, SG chainring, and SIS, which were integrated with SLR, led to the concept of STI. That was a blurb from Shimano's archive about the 735 series, and basically I think it was just them iterating on the design from a few years prior, updating it. The original one was round rings, so we have a special biopace situation here. Maybe somebody upgraded this bike at some point. Biopace was kind of the original oval chainring. It was a chainring made by Shimano from 1983 to 1993, and the design was intended to improve pedaling efficiency and reduce the quote-unquote dead zone where the crank arms are vertical. In 1989, Shimano introduced a new variant, Biopace HP, or High Performance, and these rings were closer to being round than the original Biopace. This is marketed at cyclists who race in packs and use clipless pedals, but this was not a very popular product, and they had a marketing issue with it. It did not catch on, and I don't think it's remembered very fondly nowadays. To the point where if you look at Absolute Black's website, there's like a specific section, our rotor, to like, they say like, no, don't worry, this is not Biopace, which is, I think, hilarious that they still have to talk about it. I'm gonna have to find some wrenches for these. And I don't know if I have covers for that or not, and I don't know if I care that much. I mean, this is not a perfect example of this bike by any means, so.
I think it's okay if it's continually a work in progress, like slowly finding whatever bits you're missing still.
Sweet. Check that out. That's some ceramic speed shit right there. I guess that is a triple. And we do have a front derailleur on a mountain bike today. This is a Dior XT front derailleur. This is the M, I think the whole group set is the M, we're doing a full M735 today. Got to put this thing on.
Hear people say we're Shimano haters. This is our second
Those people
Shimano
are so
build.
stupid. We are not Shimano haters. I hate that they are not competing with SRAM, and I wish that they would try harder. Probably going to need to put the chain on this to space it correctly. To go along with this, we have the matching XT 735 rear derailleur with ceramic pulley upgrade. I'm telling y'all,
Fancy.
this is a fancy boy. It does not feel very fast or spin very well, and I'm actually afraid to take it apart.
So maybe don't.
I'm not going to. This is some ceramic pulley wheel upgrade out of the factory, y'all. Whenever I bought this from eBay, it did come with a lot of the original parts. I was very grateful for that. So I have a brake set here. This is a Dior XT STI brake set, and I'm pretty sure it's original. I don't know. The manual says that it is a different part number than what I have here. These are the M09 ones, and the booklet says that the bike originally came with the, actually it just says shifters Dior XT with STI and brakes Dior XT black 2-finger. So I think these are probably the original ones because they are black, and I guess you have to brake with 2 fingers. Dang. Hopefully those still work. I might have to spray them out whenever we get to the wiring part of this video. Let's see. And these just have a single bolt. Let's just pin them down so they're not flopping around. Those got some weight to them. They're like spring loaded.
Oh. Yeah, it's like you pull it back and you really feel the spring.
That's super cool. That feels cool. I'm so excited to ride this. We are going to be riding this bike, so
Once we make sure the headset's safe.
it's safe enough for me, like, because it's.
You just like lift up the.
Oh wait, I just got it to. All this does is like hold the other nut in place. This stem is bolted to the fork. I'm actually more worried about the tires than I'm worried about the stem right now. I think what we're gonna need to do here is starting to figure out these brakes, which I took apart, which might have been a mistake.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that was a mistake, but it's fine. It is what it is now.
No, it's not too big a deal.
Thank God.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get them cleaned up. I have the left piece here. This is the left one. And I'm just trying to figure out like the adjustment on them. So that's not a very strong. See if we can make that stronger. Put it in, I'll try that. That hole there. Yeah, that's a little bit stronger.
So is this just adjusting the pool?
It's adjusting how much spring tension there is.
Rad.
Yeah, do you see that? Because like you pull it together using the brake,
Yeah.
right? But you need it to bounce back so it doesn't just stay on the brakes. And so that does have an adjustment on it with an Allen key that I reset. So once we get this in here, we can fine tune it with the spring tension adjust. I just wanted to make sure that it was properly attached. And I will find the matching side of that now.
All right, we're on to the rear.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out the brakes, but I'm just getting them all attached right now. There's way more adjustment than I expected on these. We're gonna install them and then we'll play with it once we have it all put together, if that makes sense. These are really fancy, I think. They're like Shimano SLR brakes. That sounds really cool.
Sounds fancy.
I don't know if it is, but it sounds fancy. There's 2 slots for the spring, and I'm just trying to pick one that, yeah, that has good tension on it. Do you think these old brake pads are gonna work?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
We're gonna test it.
Who needs brakes? Just gotta send it.
All right, we're gonna need some cable housing. I don't know if these came with the bike.
They came with the eBay listing.
They came with
so
the eBay bike.
they came with it.
These are some Shimano XT flat pedals. They may or may not have been original, but we're gonna install them.
Goes with the vibe.
Yeah. All right. So this is one of the most fun parts of the build. I don't really know what happened here. So this is a XT hub, but this is not the original rim that came with the bike. This is an RM17 by a Japanese company called Araya, which was a legit company. I asked some people who were racing back in the day about that. Araya was a Japanese company that began making rims in 1903, which is crazy to think about. Araya is still a company today, but their heyday was kind of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they were known for being super lightweight. And I'm guessing whoever owned this bike maybe upgraded their wheels with the Araya rims that we have today. The bike originally came with the Specialized BXL-21 wheel rim. I have the hubs, but not the rims. And to be honest with you, I think that's okay. You know, like these are definitely period correct. Nice wheel set. This is a Specialized tubeless tire, and it's called the Rockster 26.
Oh, it does say tubeless.
Yeah, these are actually from the early 2000s. How old was this bike? Like 35 years old?
Right now it's 35 years old.
Yeah, so a 35-year-old bike. I'm gonna try not to rip these. There we go. Oh man, those are thick, boys. And I think I'm gonna retape this rim. Maybe put a fresh inner tube in it. What do you think?
Yeah, the old one's probably dry rot.
Oh man. Okay, so let's correct that. This is the first time I've taken that off. I think it's probably in our best interest to retape this rim. Let's go see if we have some Velox somewhere or something that we can use. I got some Velox. We're gonna retape this rim. This is some good rim tape. We'll do that on the other rim too. And then with these Velox, I usually just take a pick and pop a hole in it.
Top left drawer. Okay.
That'll work. You can even take a little X-Acto knife.
Shout out to Built by Trey. He 3D printed this
Yeah,
knife.
Trey made this. This is a tire set from 1990. These are the original Specialized Ground Control Extreme S tires. And they actually look like they are in, it still has some hairs left. These are the original tires that came on this bike. Not this specific one, but whenever you got this bike, this is what tire it would have came with. Guess how much I spent on these tires?
$100.
$300.
Oh my God. I quit.
This is the most expensive tire set that I personally own. And it was pretty incredible that I was able to find, I think, some 35-year-old tires for this video. What do you think?
I'm trying to be supportive for the passion project.
What do you think's extreme about them?
The price.
I mean, they are rare vintage.
Rare vintage.
This whole
and
bike is rare vintage.
The tread looks kind of extreme.
The Ground Control Extreme. I actually have a little bit of a marketing blurb from Specialized about it. This is the matching 1990 Specialized parts catalog, also acquired via House of Cogs. And in this catalog, we have some really cool information about the Ground Control Extreme tire. And some of the other, oh wait, we have the Extreme S's
Extreme
first of all.
Lightest full-sized knobby.
Kevlar bead, 570 grams. I mean, that's light. Wide space knob for great traction and mud shedding.
Sounds pretty extreme. You got Kevlar.
Yeah.
You got the traction, the mud shedding.
Preferred by top Norba pro racers. Excellent durability. I mean, they are 35 years old.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's install the other one. Or you
There's
gonna go
so much cool stuff in here.
The merch, the t-shirts
Yeah.
are sick. Bring back the retro shirts.
They did.
Okay, cool. Are you gonna do a cassette real quick? Or...
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we got the cassette here. I think this washer actually goes on the back. Yeah. At least I thought it did. Nope. Okay. Let's see what I'm doing here. There's the slot. Yeah, it looks right. What I was trying to do is see the gap between this cog and this cog to make sure I put that spacer in the right spot, and it does look, it looks like it's in the right spot to me. We're gonna get the wheel in with the correct tires, which is my favorite part of the whole bike. I'm kind of scared to ride them, but we're going to. So not only are we going to be riding this, we're going to kind of go through the years, y'all. We have to acquire an Epic 2 now, but I think this one is probably the hardest one to find all the stuff for. So I think going
I think it's
forward,
just going to get easier.
I think it'll be easier, especially because I have a 6 still. Finding a 7 shouldn't be hard at all. And yeah.
All right, let's get a tire on the front wheel.
We're going to just start kind of relacing. Let's see, that's the rear, so we'll use the long one. And it's missing a cover there, but that's all right. Can you get it? Can you see that on camera, what I'm doing? There's no cover for that anymore, but I don't think that's a huge deal. Actually, still feels pretty good. I might spray it out to make it feel a little bit smoother, but that's the new rear brake or rear shifter. And then the front has a hose stuck in it because there's still a cover on it. And so let's find a small screwdriver. That bolt was not very happy. I might not put that back. Oh man, getting that off is interesting. Okay, set that down for a second. Let's pull this old cable out. And same thing, we're gonna lace this through. It works. It doesn't feel great, but it works. Now let's think about this. So we have this one going all the way to the rear, and it's probably gonna go right to there. So that's gonna slot into the frame right there. And then we just need to make it work. That'll probably be fine. It's not quite a perfect fit in the... I wonder if those are a little bit bigger than what I have here. If I need to switch that out later, I will, but I think it'll work for now. We need to reinstall the bottom cable guide that we took off at the beginning of this video. We're gonna use this for the front derailleur and this for the rear. So it needs to go like this because the front derailleur cable will go like that. All right, awesome. So I'm guessing we're gonna just make a cross into there. I don't like that at all. All right, cool, so we have to redo this. And I'm gonna shorten this a little bit. For this bike to work, you can't cross the streams of the cables. So this rear shifter has to go on the drive side. So I shortened the hose a little bit, which I hope will...
You're about to run cables right where I have to redo decals.
Oh, I guess it's probably decal time. You're probably right. I bought these online. They are the right color for 1990. Like we said, these old ones are kind of a mystery.
I think it's going to be hit or miss. Like, some of them are going to be easy, and that's kind of some, like, this one's going to start flaking off. But right now, I'm just trying to make sure I know where each of these other stickers go, so I'm probably going to go one at a time and start with the direct drive carbon.
So we're like halfway through. The new decals look great, but this is kind of the process of removing them.
They're like cooked on there, and I don't want to use a heat gun just because the lugs and like where the two materials meet, they're just glued together.
I've been using this plastic knife to kind of chip away, which has been working pretty good.
We're getting there.
That was kind of a battle.
It literally took hours. We started this process, I just checked my camera roll, We started this at 115. It's currently 335.
I broke my knife. But all that's left is to put the fun stickers on.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if do like those first or these scare me. These are like I have photos and videos of
like some reference
where
photos.
they were at and like where to align the S with the bottle cage. Maybe I'll just send it. If you want this done on your bike, call someone else.
Yeah, don't call us.
I'm not doing this again. I don't know where you're gonna go right there.
I think you could probably see where yeah, there's the edge of the old sticky stuff.
We're going right there.
That was probably the easiest one to put on.
I'm so relieved to be done.
Yeah.
It's done.
And to reiterate, this is the color that this bike was originally supposed to come with. And I have no clue what that green color was. And maybe it was just faded. I wonder if it was just so faded that it turned green.
That is a definite possibility. Some of these stickers were really baked on there.
It looks so cool with the new sticker. So this one, the reason that we even got these decals to begin with is because it's actually just missing them on the top. You can't really see on camera, but they go right here. We did a bunch of research on the origin of the old school Specialized logos, and we could not figure out what kind of font it was or anything like that. The only thing that did happen is I was Google searching, and Google's AI told me that Tim Neenan, who was the original Stump Jumper frame designer, also designed the logos, and I could not verify this at all. Yeah. I don't even know if it's true, and I doubt it's true. I guess I would ask for help in this scenario, which is that if y'all know who designed the original Specialized old school logos, let us know.
And before anyone comments, it's like, why don't you guys just use a heat gun? We thought about it, but with how the frame was put together, I didn't want to get heat near it.
Yeah, because the epoxy's supposed to be hard at room temperature. I think that was a fine way to do it. I feel like first of all, that was completely worth it. It only took us like 2 hours. I feel like we didn't do any damage. I mean, that's looking pretty good. The decals made such a giant difference. It looks like a completely different bike.
It really does.
Yeah. All right, I guess let's do the front derailleur, and then we can do the brake, because that's going to be the hard part of the build. And this one goes on the other side and then straight up, where we will bolt it onto this derailleur, which I'm going to pull this bolt all the way out and see which way it goes. Over the top, like this. Like that. Put the bolt back in. Let's see if it works now. Yeah. I think we need to spray this one out. The rear works good. The rear's super loose. Okay, so we'll tighten the rear up. I just sprayed this one out, and it is working a lot better now. It doesn't have index. It's kind of interesting. So this is just like, you can throw it all the way at once. I mean, it has like tons of clicks. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 clicks, which is a lot. So we'll have to see how that rides whenever we do the ride video on this bike. I'm not a big fan of this product, but it's all we have right now. Just spray some degreaser in here. Or this is effectively WD-40. Just let it kind of work itself back to clean. There's so many people that bring us repair bikes that all they need to do is that to their Shimano, and then they could just, it'll work immediately. But most people don't know that that's the factory grease gets dried up in there. It's gonna give my hand carpal tunnel. I'm so used to electronic shifting, my thumbs have gotten weak.
Fragile. Gotta lift more.
Yeah. That was the reason I switched to electronic shifting in the first place. It was like in these super long races, my freaking thumbs would go numb from shifting or whatever it was.
I hear that from so many people that
Yeah.
do endurance events.
It sucked. I remember the worst one I ever did was Gravel Worlds. That was the last race I did with mechanical shifting, but it literally, my hand was so numb and I couldn't shift by the end of the race, and it honestly sucked.
I feel like we're almost there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just put a new saddle on it.
That's what I want to do, yeah. I don't want to ride an old saddle. That's why I didn't buy an old saddle. Maybe I'll buy one if we just end up displaying this bike, but for now, I'm going to start with the rear. And I'm going to just do it like this, I guess, like right there. I've never seen these before, but these are like super big
Ferrule?
ferrules, and I kept them because I don't think a small one would fit in there. So actually what I just figured out is that this fits into there, so I'm going to use both.
Crafty.
Yeah, I think that's what I think that's the best scenario for this. And then this one's going to be super short on this end because it's going from here to this hanging piece right here. So we only really need it to be like that long. And then I think this does, that's a little too long. I am going to put an end on that. Yeah. There we go.
I'd say that's it.
That's it. All right, and then this is where we get a little crazy. We need to attach the cantilever. We'll need some tools. So we're gonna pull this old one out and attach the new one.
Yeah, the old cut cable.
Yeah. And then we'll have to adjust all the tensions on that.
Fun.
In the 1989 Specialized catalog, there's a little overview of why they were using cantilever brakes. And in the marketing blurb, it said that they offered better braking power, ran better in the mud, which makes sense, the mud thing, I believe. And then there was a quote that said, "We approached the brake as an entire system over individual components." I think the idea was they were already trying to design stiffness into the front end of the bike, and so the brakes were a big part of that, and they felt that the cantilevers gave them the best performance. Like that. And we'll tighten it down later whenever we have a good feel for the, because that's what's holding the brakes, right? And that's what pulls the brakes. So first off, we need to readjust this brake pad because it's like crooked. I'm gonna start working on that next. I think we should lace the other side up now.
Ooh.
So this actually goes straight into the stem. Like that.
Whoa.
And this was the main motivation for getting the original stem, because it's so cool that it runs over the top like this.
Scary, yeah?
That got me in the eye, actually.
Oh.
Straight to the eyeball. There we go. What do you think about that?
It's funky. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And then I was thinking let's see, if this runs straight down right there, it does not interfere with the other cables.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and we'll need to just reattach it to this one again. So pull this one out. I'm not the best at cantilever brakes, which is part of the reason I didn't film it, because I don't feel confident in explaining what I'm doing. And they're kind of crappy because I'm not good at it.
And it's 35 years old.
I bet somebody who's like worked on a ton of these could show me up and like do a really good job at this. But, oh, that's not too bad. There we go, that's not too bad. I don't know why this one lever, do you see this? I wonder if there's some kind of pull adjustment that I need to tinker with here, because one of them, the lever's closer to the bar.
There's some definite tinkering you could do.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty stoked on this. This is way better than I thought I was capable of setting up. Make sure I got those tight.
No.
And I'll cut this a little shorter. Yeah. I just put some ESI grips on there. I don't know if ESI was a company back in the 90s or not. Probably, I would assume so. I don't know. But I think it matches the vibe of the bike. I was looking at ordering some like period correct grips. There weren't really any that made any sense.
Be happy and comfortable.
Yeah. Originally, this bike came with a Selly Italia turbo saddle. You can buy those on eBay, but I decided that that would be cool for a display piece. But like we've said, we're gonna ride and test this bike out. I'm gonna ride every single generation. And so we are going to just put a normal saddle on this today. It's a Specialized saddle. Discontinued actually. I have an old Power Arc that I found, and this saddle will be what we have on this for now. That way, instead of feeling uncomfortable because of a bad saddle, we can actually just focus on how the bike feels, which is what I'm more interested in. And hopefully everybody understands that. There we go.
No bad.
Thanks, Ginger.
And maybe we buy, if we decide that we're gonna just display this bike in the store somewhere, maybe I'll buy that original one. But for now, we're gonna do a logical decision here with the Specialized Power Arc.
Oh, no, a seat. Oh, a seat.
Yeah, Dad put a seat on his bike.
Yeah.
Does that look super out of place, or does it look pretty normal?
It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. Like, it's fine. It's a seat, man.
I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. All right, so let's put the chain on it, and then it's done.
My new one.
Oh, thank you, Ginger.
My not new one.
I see that. Okay, let me film Dad.
Mom, Dad, hat.
I don't think that hurt Dad's hand. Thanks, Ginger. Looking pretty buttoned to me.
Mine.
Yes, that's from a tool that you broke.
I ordered some bottle cages from 1990 from Specialized. Do you think this one's gonna fit with the front derailleur?
That's really questionable. I was just looking at that.
We'll see. Maybe I'll just put one on it for now.
My turn. My turn.
Tell Dad that it's your turn.
Should I just bend it?
It
No.
doesn't look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it. Maybe that's just what they did. I wasn't alive when this bike came out, so I don't know.
My turn.
I think that's a little ridiculous, but does it look better with them? Probably.
Yeah.
We just need to get some spacers. I bet that's a super easy fix. Watch out, Gentry.
She keeps saying that it's her turn.
What? Is she in my video now?
It's clearly she's building the bike.
What part did you build, Gentry?
She has her candy,
Okay.
her Valentine's Day candy from school.
Were those good ones to buy for this?
It looks authentic.
Yeah, well, they are.
So yeah, then you're set.
This has been sitting here for like 8 months now, and it's so cool to finally like put it together. It looks incredible.
Yeah, I feel like we bought a lot of the parts pretty quick, and then it just sat around.
Yeah. Need to tighten this brake.
Thanks, Gentry. Gentry doesn't know where to put her Allen key because she's not used to this style of bike. What? That's a brake.
Yeah, she's never seen a bike this old, right?
Yeah, she's like trying to find little holes to put her Allen key like she typically does on like mine and your bikes. And she can't find it.
The bike was $1,350. The catalogs from House of Cogs were $20. The seat post was $165. The ground control extreme tires were $300. The stem was $100. The vintage bottle cages were $35. The Chris King headset was $220. And then what was the one thing that we forgot to mention? The handlebar. I'm pretty sure the handlebar was $100, even though it is no longer on my eBay for some reason.
All right, you're at $2,290 for this passion project of yours.
2000 what?
$2,290.
So we spent $400 more than this bike cost brand new in 1980 or 1990.
That's absurd.
Dang.
I'm trying to be supportive, but damn, man.
Like, what do you think?
This is cool. This is a fun project. I mean, I like old bikes. I personally own a 1996 GT Karakoram. So like, this is up my alley.
So I just rode it outside, and immediately it's pretty quick feeling, but the steering is kind of wild. A lot of the articles about old bikes like this, they kind of have what they call the hunchback riding position, and this 100% has that, which is very foreign to me at this point. I'm a little scared to ride this on an actual mountain bike trail, I'm not gonna lie. So like I said, we are going to do a follow-up where we ride this bike as well as videos on every other generation of Specialized Epic. Epic 1, this one's I think one of the more interesting ones.
24.91.
And that's what the reviewers said that the bike was kind of weighing in at, so that's really cool. I can't wait to ride this and give you a ride impression of it. This is part 1 of this Epic retrospective series. Hopefully y'all enjoy this. It's gonna be a lot of effort. If y'all want to support the channel, just buy stuff from us. Go to thebicyclestation.com or shoot us an email and we can build you a bike or whatever you like. We'll mail it to you. This is my Epic 1, and I think this one's cool because I realize it says stump jumper on it, and this was kind of like experimentation. They took the stump jumper, which was the race bike, and they started experimenting with it, which is where the Epic has always kind of been on the bleeding edge of race bike technology, and this was the first carbon mountain bike. It's so cool. Can't wait to, like I said, I'm going to ride this, and we're gonna do a ride impression video, so let me know what y'all think of this, because it's definitely different kind of content for the channel, but whenever it gets warm, definitely subscribe for that next video. We'll see you on the next one.